A lot of games, especially older ones, are known for their buggy code, and Pokemon Red and Blue are no exception. In fact, Generation 1 Pokemon games are infamous for their glitches. Many of these glitches are very well known, such as the Mew glitch in Glitch City. Today we're going to look at perhaps the most well-known Pokemon glitch, or glitch Pokemon I guess, the MissingNo glitch, or the Old Man glitch. The how-to of the glitch is extremely well-known and simple. Talk to the old man in Viridian City, immediately fly to Cinnabar Island, start surfing on the east coast of the island, and whoa, some pretty weird stuff happens. But how does it work? Why do different Pokemon appear on different files? Why does the game spawn weird glitch Pokemon instead of normal wild Pokemon in the first place? And why does encountering MissingNo give you 128 of whatever item is in the 6th slot of your bag? Today on Glitch in Depth, we're going to explore exactly that. So let's start our journey where we would if we wanted to actually do the glitch, at the old man who sets everything up for us. The old man's battle with the Weedle is scripted, not a pre-rendered cutscene, so it draws information from the same locations in memory as normal battles do. This means the game has to load the old man's trainer name from the same memory that holds your trainer name, but we want the old man's name to be old man, not your name. So to do that, the game moves your name data to memory the game doesn't immediately need, which just so happens to be the location in memory that stores what wild Pokemon you can find, and then temporarily changes your name to old man so the old man fight can use it. But don't worry, they change it back after the fight. Anyway, after the old man battle, your name is written back to where it should be, but the game doesn't update the wild Pokemon data it overwrote, and here's why. Whenever you load an area in which wild Pokemon can spawn, the data that tell the game exactly which Pokemon you can find in the area are written to this location in memory. However, since you can't find wild Pokemon in Viridian City, the game doesn't update the data. Your name data stay there and will be erroneously read later as wild Pokemon data. But we'll get there. And by that, I mean we're going there right now. Let's fly to Cinnabar Island and start finding these cool glitch Pokemon. But before we hop into that too fast, let's look at why we sometimes find these glitch Pokemon here instead of normal Pokemon. You aren't supposed to find any wild Pokemon on Cinnabar Island, so when you fly there, the game doesn't update the memory that stores which wild Pokemon you can find. That means your name data are still written there. As for why you can only find Pokemon surfing on the coast, it's actually because the land tiles next to the water were accidentally programmed to have a chance of starting wild Pokemon battles when you walk on them. Every tile in the game is split up into 4 smaller subtiles, and for whatever reason, the bottom left tile is the one that determines what kind of encounters you'll have. When you're surfing right next to the island, the right subtiles are water tiles, but the left subtiles are the island subtiles that mistakenly let you find wild Pokemon. So surfing on the water tiles right next to the island will eventually result in a wild Pokemon encounter. And when this encounter starts, like any other encounter, the game chooses a wild Pokemon from the location in memory that stores wild Pokemon data. However, that hasn't updated since your name data were written there, so you get some pretty interesting results. So all of the data in this game are stored as bytes, and this includes both your name and wild Pokemon data. The game remembers what your name is by assigning every individual character to its own unique byte. That way, when the game reads your name data, it displays your name. If you somehow change one of these bytes, one of the characters in your name will be different. Wild Pokemon data are stored similarly. This 18-byte portion of memory is stored like this. The first byte is the level of Pokemon 1, the second byte is the ID of Pokemon 1, the third byte is the level of Pokemon 2, and so on and so forth. Since this portion of data is 18 bytes long, you can find a maximum of 9 unique Pokemon in each area. So let's look at Route 1's wild Pokemon data as an example. The first byte corresponds to the level of the Pokemon, 3. The second byte corresponds to the ID of the Pokemon Pidgey. That means that we should be able to find a level 3 Pidgey here, and lo and behold, we can. The next 2 bytes, 03A5, correspond to a level 3 Rattata, so we can also find a level 3 Rattata here. The next 2 bytes correspond to another level 3 Rattata. This just means it's 2 times as likely to find a level 3 Rattata. The next 2 correspond to a level 2 Rattata, and yeah, you get the point. So let's see what it looks like when name data is read as wild Pokemon data. For this example, let's look at my name, Scrumpy in all caps. In memory, my name looks like this. For some reason, the game stores the data in the wild Pokemon data table starting at the second character of your name. Therefore, the second, fourth, and sixth letters of your name determine the levels of the Pokemon you'll find, and the third, fifth, and seventh will determine their IDs. For the thought experiment, let's calculate what Pokemon we'll find using my name. 82 in hex is equal to 130 in decimal, and 91 is Marowak's ID. This means I should be able to find a level 130 Marowak, and hey, I can. 94 in hex is 148 in decimal, and 8C is an invalid ID, which means we get MissingNo. This means I can also find a level 148 MissingNo. 8F in hex is 143 in decimal, and 98 is Starmie's ID, so guess what else we can find? After the name data, the next 2 bytes are 50 and 0. The 50 is there to let the game know that the data table ends prematurely. This translates into a level 80 M. But wait, why do some Pokemon IDs point to MissingNo M in other glitched Pokemon? Well, there are only 151 non-glitched Pokemon, and there are 256 possible Pokemon IDs. That means there are 105 invalid Pokemon IDs. There is an error handler in Pokemon Red and Blue that will start a fight with MissingNo if the game tries to load an invalid Pokemon ID after the first real Pokemon ID and before the last real Pokemon ID. However, if the ID is outside of this range, the game will load garbage data. The game bugs out and loads glitched Pokemon that were never meant to exist. Now let's take a quick look at why encountering MissingNo gives you 128 of whatever item is in the 6th slot of your bag. In memory, every Pokemon has a byte somewhere that tells the game if it has previously been seen, and a different one that tells if it's been caught. For MissingNo and M, who weren't supposed to ever be encountered, the part of memory that the game writes to let the Pokédex know that you've seen them happens to be the part of memory that stores the quantity of the item in the 6th item slot. So the quantity of the item in the 6th item slot gets overwritten to be 128 every time you see MissingNo or M. Now that we know what's behind this glitch, let's put our knowledge to the test and change our name so that the glitched Pokemon we can find are a level 171 Oddish, a level 139 Nidorina, a level 170 Rapidash, and, unavoidably, the level 80 M. Remember that the first character of our name doesn't matter, so let's make it, how about a capital P? 171 in decimal is AB in hex, and Oddish's ID is B9. AB and B9 correspond to lowercase l and lowercase z respectively, so they have to be either the 2nd and 3rd, 4th and 5th, or 6th and 7th characters of our name. For convenience, let's make them the 2nd and 3rd. Next, let's do the Nidorina. 139 in decimal is 8B in hex, and Nidorina's ID is A8. These bytes correspond to the characters capital L and lowercase I, so let's put them in there. Finally, let's put in the characters for the Rapidash. 170 in decimal is AA in hex, and Rapidash's ID is A4. These correspond to the letters lowercase k and lowercase e, so let's put them at the very end. And that brings me to my next point. While we surf the coast and find these Pokemon, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, please leave it a like. It helps me out way more than you would think. And if you want to see more in-depth glitch content like this, be sure to subscribe. I have a lot of glitch videos coming up, and a lot of them have to do with other Pokemon glitches. Oh, and by the way, MissingNo can't delete your save data. It'll only mess up sprites, which is a temporary thing, and sometimes the Hall of Fame data, which is hilarious. Until next time, happy glitching.